Welcome to Sugar, Spice, and Spirits, where happy hour meets hustle, and the only thing stronger than our cocktails are our opinions. Get ready to laugh, learn, and maybe question a few life choices. Cheers to being a little smarter and a whole lot spicier. So grab your drink, kick back, and let's mix a little business with a whole lot of fun. Because around here, success is always on the menu.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Sugar, Spice, and Spirits podcast, where I'm your co-host, Natalie Pilkington,
Mindy Price,
Kelly Williams,
and we are here today in spirit and in Mexico. So Mindy and I are actually live in La Isla, Mexico. So we are Isla Mujeres.
Isla Mujeres.
And Kelly was unable to make it, so we're super excited to have her here in spirit.
With those glasses, you are
Yes,
rocking.
I'm in the margarita Mexico spirit. I've got the glasses, I've got the earrings, I even have the watch band. So I've got the.
She's like repping Jimmy Buffett, Mexico. I thought those were butterfly glasses because they look like butterflies, but then you see the stems coming off the side, going down her cheek. They've got line wedges on the side. She is so representing with her little visor. It looks fabulous. And then what does your cup say?
No working during drinking hours.
Well, there you go.
So you guys are gracious enough to be working a little bit while you're on a little bit of a vacay. So I figured I would go ahead and follow suit and go poolside, even though I'm not beachside like you guys. Some guy just ran behind you. It was hilarious.
Not watching on YouTube, you probably should go check this one out.
Yes, for sure.
What happened behind us? Because literally the pool and the bar are right there.
And so we're staying at an all-inclusive, and Mindy...
We probably shouldn't go there.
Oh, we should.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Another story.
That is for another.
You can go and subscribe, and maybe we'll write it in the newsletter.
We'll spill the tea there, yeah. So the sip of the day is inspired by Mindy. What is this?
This is a carajillo, which I was first introduced to when I was in Isla Mujeres with my friend Tracy Payne. By the way, if you are ever looking to go to Isla, she's not a sponsor, didn't pay for this, but I love utilizing her penthouse. She also has a cute little home my husband and I are staying in right now called Casa Daddio. But she introduced me to the carajillo, which is a coffee-based drink with a special liquor in it. Again, if you go to our website and you subscribe for our newsletter, you already tasted it. I was still talking. You just could not wait.
I couldn't. I wanted it. Why'd you gotta call me out? Nobody would have known except for YouTube. Okay.
So anyway, you can go and subscribe. Be sure you check the email that comes to you so you'll get our newsletter. You will get all of the recipes for the different drinks that we highlight during our show. It's not a drinking show. It is truly about business life and real estate. And you can also make your own version. We'll put a mocktail recipe in there because a lot of times you may think we have a cocktail and it actually is a mocktail. But this one today is fully loaded. It's called a carajillo. So we're going to try ours, Kelly, and then I think because you're not with us, you have something a little different that you can tell us about. So cheers.
Enjoy, ladies. Yeah, I am. Of course, it's July 4th weekend. And so I decided to kind of do some yard work and cleanup and everything. So I needed a little energy. So I have the Alani energy drink. It is the cherry twist. I didn't bring the can down here with me, but I just put a little Tito's in it. And that just kind of, fit the bill. So I've got my energy going, got my cleaning mode going, poolside, and got my Tito's. So I'm in the spirit. So it's all is good. All is good.
So you've got a great backyard. I can't wait till all three of us are there with you and we're doing an episode, The Compound.
Yes.
All right.
So today we're going to talk about, balancing life and vacation and away time. A lot of times people get so wrapped around an axle about working. And a lot of times it's because you're passionate. You really like what you do. You're busy. A lot of stuff is going on, which is fantastic. However, you got to take a step back and recharge. And I know we're here working on this vacation, but really we just want to connect. We enjoy what we do. We're not stressed. We really are a fly-by-seat. I have my backup drink, which is a tequila sunrise because it's morning time and tequila in Mexico. We don't have to have everything perfect. So just like Kelly's showing up, she's got her Margaritaville stuff or her Margarita Mexico in spirit. We're just having fun. Like for us, it's about letting our hair down and going in. We're still kind of working here and there. Like I just took a call from something that was going on at one of my properties. However, it's still about having fun and enjoying yourself and taking the time to unplug. Now, you may not have money for a vacation because times are tight for a lot of people. You're in startup mode. You don't have a big reserve to go on these fancy vacations. However, when you just take time to unplug and you can do a staycation, you can go away. You don't have to be somewhere, but that staycation, turn off the phones, turn off the TV, play games with your kids, reconnect with your kids, make them talk to you. They may not talk to you the first 2 or 3 games, but by the 4th and 5th game of Who Sunk My Battleship, you will have a conversation with your kids no matter what age. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't mute my phone. So what's important is just getting that connection and reconnecting with them.
Yeah, Kelly, you can remember there were times when I wouldn't take vacations. And if I did go on vacation, I was always working. And it can be somewhat annoying, and depending on the role that you're in and how many people you're responsible for, I know that's often hard. But what I will say is that I heard from my teams is that when I actually did unplug and I took time for myself and my kids and my husband, the way I was able to come back and show up was so important. And I did learn also the value of just unplugging at home and having those mini staycations. You know, today, Kelly, if you wanted to, you could take the whole day off and just sit back and relax and be like, I'm with the girls in spirit. I'm going to do this because when my husband gets home, I'm going to be super excited to see him. He's going to be like, what did you accomplish today? Nothing. I took care of me. And sometimes that is super important. Now, if you find yourself doing that every day, then not so good. And I can remember when I first remembered the value of a vacation, my friends would joke, they're like, you're always on vacation. And I do. I'm very lucky, blessed. Thankfully, I get to take a lot of vacations, but oftentimes I am working, but I'm doing something I find joy in. And a lot of times, especially now, I find inspiration in places, different people that I meet, different books that I see, different challenges that you hear just by having conversations with individuals. They'll open up and they'll tell you what they're going through. And right there, I could write a whole keynote on some of those things. Truly taking care of yourself is the best thing that you can do. And sitting back, taking a break, whether it's a staycation or it's a vacation. If there's anything else that you do today, if you haven't had a vacation in over a year, I want to challenge you to book it. And it may just be booking it in your backyard, maybe booking it, reading in a hammock or whatever the case is. But take care of yourself. Like, that's so important. I know you get it as well. And especially, Kelly, being in the medical field, I can't even imagine how many people you took care of that had ailments, especially in physical therapy, that because they didn't take care of themselves, they were going so hard and grinding so hard all the time that your body, your mind may be there, but your body starts to break down. And I am in no way a medical professional, but I would imagine in 35 years you've been doing this, you've seen a lot of that.
Well, absolutely, 100%. And, it's a true testament that even mental stress. I mean, you may have one of those jobs where you feel like you're not out doing labor intensive type activities like construction workers or, the bless his heart, the guy that came and pulled my weeds for me yesterday was out in the hot sun and I was so afraid he was going to have a heat stroke and everything. But he's probably exhausted today, but he was young, thankfully. So, but you have to think about the mental stress as well as the physical stress that goes with just not finding time for yourself. I recently had the privilege, I guess, to go to a celebration of life for my late husband's father. And it was so funny because the one thing I remember about him for all the years that my late husband and I were together, he never took a vacation. And I remember my husband, that was one reason why we were always so adamant about every year we went somewhere with our kids. And he had a fabulous childhood, don't get me wrong, but it was something that he just said that he wished he could have done more with his mom and dad and his sister. And it was so funny because during the service a couple weekends ago, they had what's called the Mobley Rule. And so my late husband's name was Lance Mobley. And I said the Mobley Rule. And what that was the corporate executives basically called it the Mobley Rule because they had to enforce people, and especially Jim, my father-in-law, to go on vacation because he had, I can't even imagine how many hours he had built up of paid vacation. But it was a testament to how much he loved his job. And he did say, and even his family said, he never brought his job and his work home with him, which is good. But yet he never took the time to really take that vacation, take that time off. I think once a year they would go to visit family at a family reunion. He was one of 11. And so they would have a family reunion every year. But that was only about 3 days. And the rest of the time he was just work, 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 work. And again, he loved his work and he was fabulous at what he did. But I would imagine, life may have been a little bit nicer if he'd had some vacation time. But again, you never would have known it because he loved what he did so much. And that's one thing. But again, like you said, you still need to find find the time for yourself to just kick back and relax, because you never know what's going to happen. My late husband passed away at 53 years old and still had so much life ahead of him. And I look back and I am so thankful that we did take the vacations with our kids that we did take. We went to Mexico a lot, and I dragged his butt to Disney World, and he wasn't a real fan of that, but oh well. But just memories and great fun. So yeah, you've got to definitely find the time to enjoy yourself, not just for yourself, but for your family as well.
Yeah, and that was what I was going to point on. It's like, it's fantastic to love your job and to be passionate and to pour into what you do, or to pour into your business as a self-employed person. It's not a 9 to 5. Sometimes you're self-employed, you're meeting a payroll. You've got the stress of that. There's no 9 to 5. You dream of a 9 to 5 job, right? Like, oh, if I only had benefits and a steady paycheck, things like that is where your mind goes sometimes when it's tough. Cash crunches, in those entrepreneurial times when you're building and growing. But don't forget about your kids, because you can build and grow for years, and your kids need those memories. They need that time. And that's what they care about. They may not realize that if you've got preteen kids, they may bro, or whatever, mom. But make them unplug. Put those phones on airplanes. Put those tablets on airplane, because you don't get back that time, and you never know when it's your last moment, time on earth. So I didn't meet my dad till I was like 12 years old. I called information and I got his number. It's a story there, but I called information, got his number, called it my stepmom, and I said, "Hi, I'm Ralph's daughter, and I'd like to talk to him. Can you have him call me?" Because he wasn't home. I said, "Hi, can I talk to Ralph?" And she said, "No." And then he called me like 5 minutes later, and we talked for a long time. And then we set up a meeting in person to meet. Like, I was pulling skeet at 12 years old at Hot Wells Shooting Range, if anybody knows any. And I was getting paid $2 an hour, but I was pulling skeet at Hot Wells Shooting Range. Well, he showed up there, and I didn't think to tell my mom, "Hey, I called my dad." Like, why would I tell her that, right? So my dad was there. My best friend's mom and her daughter come out, and they're like, "Ralph's on property. Do you want us to have him escorted off?" And I'm like, "What? What's happening? Like, why would you ask?" Like, it's my dad's here because I called him. And my mom looks over at me, and my heart broke, being raised by a single mom who struggled and did all this. And I didn't have vacations. And she's looking at me and she's like, "No, if my daughter wants to meet her dad, she's going to meet her dad." And so my father and I spent about an hour and a half talking under a tree at a picnic table at Hot Wells Shooting Range in Cypress, Texas. That day I lost my best friend at that time. She kind of disowned me. And I kindled a relationship with my father. He said he was going to pick me up and take me out to dinner, because our conversation went really well. Like, I asked the hard questions. Like, I didn't have anything to lose at this point, because he's not a dad to me. He's not a father. So why did you leave me? Why didn't you choose me? Who are my sisters? And I asked all these hard-hitting questions.
Natalie always asks the hard-hitting questions, by the way.
It's just who you are. Sugarcoating is not my thing, which we had a conversation about that. Neither is it really yours. It's been practiced. You're the ultimate professional. But, we went to dinner, and he said, "I want to take you out to dinner." I said, "Fantastic. Where are we going?" And he said, "Staking out." I didn't eat out. We had the pot of soup on the stove that we just added more to it each day that would just keep the soup going, right? And so we went to Staking Out, and I ordered by price, because that's what any smart young woman does who just met her dad, who hasn't paid a lick of child support. So I was like, "Steak and lobster." And they were like, "How do you want that done? Like, I want the steak cooked." And my dad's just looking across from me, smiling ear to ear. And he looks like me with the deep brown eyes and the big smile and the big honky nose. And I'm like looking at him, and he's like, "Do you want it medium?" I still had no clue. And then I figured out what I wanted. And he didn't flinch when I ordered steak and lobster. And I was like, "Oh, he's rich," in my mind. So then we ended up having this fabulous relationship. And we didn't do vacations, but the fact that I got to connect with him, they would do poker night. He was a good Catholic, went to Catholic church, even though he couldn't take communion because he was divorced, couldn't take communion. We'd go to Catholic church. I'd go to mass with him. And then we'd come home and do poker, family poker night. So all the family came around, my aunts and uncles that I didn't get to know until poker night, like whenever I got introduced to the family. And I had such a wonderful, wonderful memories with him, just being with him and being engaged and learning and all of that. He ended up passing away my senior year. And you just never know. And if my mom would have said, "You got to wait till you're 18 to meet him and develop a relationship with him," I would have been screwed. I would have been given the luxury of knowing who he was as a person and knowing that he did love me. He had just made some choices along the way. So I was given such an opportunity by my mom having grace and forgiveness, but by taking the time to do that. And I know it kind of doesn't go with vacation, but it goes with quality time, and it goes with that time spent. You can't get that back with your kids because you never. My contractor, his son was 16, taken away in an ATV accident. He found him right around Christmas that night, and he's still so broken, and he has other kids, other family. You've got to keep moving. You've got to keep living, but invest in your family and invest that time, because bottom line is your job may go, your company may close, but your family is always your family. Now, I'm not talking bad family, like boundaries are good, narcissist, all that. Like, get rid of the negative. But invest in your kids now, because those grandbabies will be coming, and trust me, nothing is as sweeter as those grandbabies. You'll want to spend that time. So just invest.
And I know that's not the topic today, but I think it's something that's really big. And I will be the first to say that I don't know this firsthand per se. There's certain things that I have seen and have had friends and others talk to me about. You said something that just really hit me. And you had the time to meet your dad and to make that judgment, whether you wanted to have that relationship. He was taken away from you. And had you waited till you were 18, you wouldn't have been able to do that. You think about parents who unfortunately are in that situation. That person they may think is a POS. They may think, they don't want you to know. But if that person is taken away and the kid never gets to know, then you're the bad person for not letting them make that choice. And that's such a hard subject. It could be a whole show, and we are not psychologists, we are not psychiatrists, we don't write the pills, we don't play it on TV, but that is something a lot of people they deal with. And because we as a unit, the three of us, have had so much loss in our lives, to know that death is finite, like it's done. So while you're speaking to that point of, I'm like, gosh, you just have got to know them and make that decision on your own. Is that somebody you want in your life or not? That's got to be incredibly difficult for a parent. On the other side of that, life is so, once you're done, you're done. It's like the song, Never Seen a Hearse with a, what is it? Isn't it a George Strait song, Never Seen a Hearse with a luggage rack or something like that? You can't take your stuff with you when you go. Right. Having the time to take care of yourself and to take care of others around you, I think is so very, very important. Kelly, you said this, and Natalie, you said this, and I just want to put a pin in it, that you may not want to vacation. And that might not be your jam. That might not be your thing. But if you do have a spouse, a partner, a relationship, or you have children, you have nieces and nephews that you're close to, they might want to. And more than likely, just because you're a human, you will have a connection. You will find a deeper presence within yourself if you take that time and you see those other individuals that are having joy, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is what vacations are all about. Maybe you didn't grow up taking vacations. Maybe you didn't know what that was. So if you're that person and you're that workaholic and you have a family or a significant other, a partner, somebody who's special to you, if it's their thing, I challenge you to try it, because it may be something that just opens up a whole new side of you.
Well, and even as a workaholic, or someone who has commitment, you still have to be able to find the time for yourself. I remember when I had gone back to school to get my doctorate, there was a big friend group that Mindy and I used to we still run around with them. And we would always go on cruises and everything. And on two separate occasions, because it took me 2.5 years to complete my doctorate, we went to a girlfriend's wedding in Mexico. And then we also went on a cruise. And almost talked myself out of going, but I needed so bad to go. My husband was sick at the time, and he had his best friend was so gracious and would always say, do you need some time away? And I'm like, yes, I do. It's, being a caregiver 24 hours a day, working full time and trying to go to school is just a bit much, and I need a vacation. So his best friend, Mark, would come and stay for a week and just let me have my girlfriend time. And, that gave me the opportunity to just get away. Now, one thing I would do is I would tell my girlfriends, all right, you ladies need to give me 3 hours in the morning to get all my schoolwork done, whether it was classes or tests or whatever. And, I knew they were out at the beach, or they were at the pool, or they were, at the Congo line on the cruise ship or whatever. And I just had to put my earphones on, lock myself in the room, and not let anybody in and bother me, because I had to stay focused. But let me tell you what, when that 3 hour hit and my assignments were done, it was like Katie barred the door because I was going through it. I came running and jumping and diving, cannonballs, everything, and I had the time of my life. But I also dedicated the necessary time needed for something that was very important to me. And so whether it's a work task, whether it's a Teams meeting, you can still set aside a short amount of time to do those things and still make time for yourself and enjoy yourself. Whether like you guys said, whether it's going to Mexico, whether it's reading a book, whether it's, sitting out by your pool or whatever it is, going to Starbucks and just sitting in the corner by yourself, it doesn't matter. But finding that key time is just, it's for your health. It's absolutely for your health. All work and no play makes you a very dull person and could actually sometimes shorten your life. And then, like you said, you don't have any memories to look back on. One last final story. I have been blessed. I have visited every state, all 50 states in the United States. And I started when I was 4 years old with my grandparents. And then my grandfather said, okay, you guys do this. So then it was my mom and my grandmother. And every summer we went on a 2-week vacation. And that was when you had to write the Chamber of Commerce, and we'd write and find out what all there was to do. And my grandmother and my mom would sit there with a big, huge Rand McNally road atlas and map out the thing. And I look back now, and some of the most fabulous memories I had were my mom and us pulling up to the state line and them saying, get out and smile. Well, it was great when I was little, but when I was like 16 and 17, my mom was like, get out of this damn car and smile at the state sign. Damn it. You're going to like this one day. And I remember they're huge history buffs. I love history now, but back then it was like, yeah, whatever. I told them, if you take me by one more dead person's grave, you can just take me to the airport and go home. But now I look back at that and I'm so thankful that I have those memories. Now, not everyone was gracious enough, was lucky enough to be able to go to all 50 states. It took me 50 years to finally get to Hawaii because we couldn't drive there. But I went a few years ago, so I finally made my 50th state. But when I look back, of course, my mom is still alive, but my grandmother's gone. When I look back at those memories, my mom and I can sit there and laugh until we cry because we had so many funny moments with my grandmother. And it's definitely 3 generations of chaos that I also passed down to my daughter. But like I said, not everyone can go on a 2-week vacation. If you have 2 days to go, then just do it. Just do it. Find the time for yourself and for your family and just do it.
You can do state parks, like in Texas. They have a state map that you can do. So many different things. So the main take on this is spend time on yourself. Spend time, if you don't have a family, spend time with your friends, the important people. Even if it's just unplugging and chunking in, like Kelly said, 3 hours that you're focused on meditation, prayer, whatever it is to unplug and just to recapture. Maybe it's running a marathon, setting a goal for yourself that's just for you personally and your health. I'm going to wrap things up with the main take. I just closed on a house that's a flip, and there's so much beautiful china in this house. I'm learning about the different china from the melt china or something. It's real white china. They have Nortaki. They have all this china in this house, all the furniture. Everything was left in this house, and I can put it in the newsletter too, a picture. Beautiful furniture, china hutches, just so much jewelry. Like everything was left, from the silverware, the flatware, the server, everything. You can't take it with you. Like you said, there's no luggage rack on the hearse. We'll have to find that song. There's no luggage rack. So your kids don't want your china. Your kids don't want your car. They may, but what they really need is you. They really need time from you. Your family needs time from you. Your parents need time from you. So many times, we're focused on our kids, but our parents, if they're still around, still need us. And as a caregiver for my mom, and Kelly, you're a caregiver, we know sometimes we neglect them. We're like, oh, I got to take them to the doctor. But they still need us. They still yearn for that time from us. They still want to be with us. We're still their kid.
What I would give for my parents to be here. I would give to be able to be that caregiver again.
So call your parents first and foremost, then call your kids, and then call your grandbabies. But take time. Take time to be with them. Take that trip, whether it's going to visit the grandbabies or the kids. Go and visit their city and rebuild. And don't make it about you. Make it about them. And just unplug, like really get back so you can come back, recharge, refocus to your daily life. I think that's so, so important. And we appreciate you listening. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts of the Sugar, Spice, and Spirits podcast. We absolutely are enjoying this journey. We hope you guys are as well. If you have a show idea, you have some information, topic, something you want to spill some tea, spill it on our website, sugarspiceandspirits.com. We'd love to just hear from you. Also, subscribe to the newsletter there. Those will be going out either weekly or monthly. We haven't quite figured that out yet, but we're super excited. And if you want to sponsor, reach out to us as well, because we are on our growth mode and we are excited to grow with you guys and look forward to the next podcast. So cheers everybody.
You ladies have a wonderful time. Not too wonderful without me, though.
Oh, you're fixing to get spammed with so many pictures.
Oh, I know. Bye, everyone.
Sugar, Spice, and Spirits is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are solely those of the host and guests and do not represent those of any affiliated organizations. The content provided is not intended to be a substitute for professional advice, whether legal, financial, medical, or otherwise. Always seek the advice of qualified professionals regarding any questions that you may have. While we aim to keep information accurate and up to date, we make no guarantees of completeness, reliability, or accuracy. Any action you take based on the information presented is strictly at your own risk. Cheers to mixing a little fun and some friendly advice. But remember, sip responsibly and always do your own homework.